thank you, John De La Rosa, for a week and a half out of the Arnold Classic doing the show tonight. That is much respect. Much respect. Appreciate it, brother.
It's an honor to be on.
Doing that. Thank you. So everybody knows Big Phil, Dorian Haywood, Luke, 212 IFBB Pro. This is the first time I've seen you without a hat, Luke. And you know what? Like, what's funny is we're both in Jersey. We got to like train together. We've never trained together. I'll come to Diamond.
Okay, yeah, I'm still there. I'm still there in the evenings.
Yeah, let me know. We'll do that.
Yeah.
So John, how you feeling, man? You got a week and a half, right? A week and a half?
Yeah, 9 days. I feel great, man. I mean, obviously it's to be expected. I'm tired coming towards the end here.
Yeah.
Actually, I got quite a bit. I'm going to be competing through March and April. But you know, we wanted to make sure we hit the nail on the head for this one and be 100%. And just very excited to display what we've been working so hard on. I think this will be the best physique that I've displayed on stage in quite a while. I'm sure that a lot of people are going to be surprised at how much size I put on, the conditioning that I'm carrying. It's going to be fun, man. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, me and Dorian were talking about the Arnold Classic last week, right, Dorian? And I was like, you know, we were kind of trying to figure out who's going to come in what place and blah blah blah. And then I had to kind of make a clarification. And I'm like, the people out there that's watching have to realize that this is the Arnold Classic. So just to be on that stage, it's invite only, means you're one of the best in the IFBB to begin with. So it's like the Super Bowl, right? Both teams are good. You're just figuring out who's going to win.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. My wife was the one that kind of put that in perspective for me. Last year, coming back from the injury, you know, there was a lot of doubts in my mind, a lot of like worry, like, am I good enough? I haven't trained this hard in a while because of the bicep tear. What am I going to look like? So on and so forth. And you know, when I got the invite to the Arnold, there was a moment there where I was kind of like, ooh, shit, like it's real. Like I got to bust my ass. But, you know, it was kind of like what I needed. I needed that kick in the ass again, because when she said this, I was kind of like, man, I never thought about that. Just because when you're in it and you're competing and you're just trying to get to the top and you know, you're just chasing a win, you're chasing a title, whatever, you kind of get lost and you don't really think like what you just said, like it's invite only. And it's really the top guys that get invited. And what an honor and what a blessing it is to do it. And then, you know, I started to think about a year and a half ago, my bicep was dangling off my arm.
Really?
Oh yeah, right. I had the surgery about 2 years ago.
Oh wow. Okay, so it was a bicep tear or a tendon or a ligament?
Full bicep tendon tear.
Wow.
The distal bicep tendon tear. Yeah.
Let's not. I want to stay on that topic of being invited on that stage and realizing what an honor it is and how far you've gotten. Phil could talk about that, because Phil kind of went through that last year at the Olympia when you won your first show, right, Phil? And then you were on the Olympia stage and you were kind of like, I don't know if I want to come to the finals, you know? And it was actually Dorian's trainer, rest in peace, that actually convinced you, no, you got to realize that you're in the Olympia right now. Go ahead, Phil. I just wanted to.
What do you want me to shed light on? The whole aspect of when I was at the Olympia?
Yeah. And kind of like talk about what John was saying, realizing that when you're in the middle of it and you're training and you don't realize how far you've come to enjoy the spot that you're on. So go ahead.
Yeah, well, first of all, I just want to say congratulations, De La Rosa, for the invite. I'm watching your journey as you go on. Everything you post, you do look incredible. I was actually talking to my coach Blue. We're just talking this past weekend, and I was like, man, did you see the updates on De La Rosa? You know, I said a lot of people not talking about him, but he looks freaking dangerous. I mean, you're grainy, you're hard. You know, it's crazy how your body has transformed from 4 weeks ago to the way it looks now. Because about 4 weeks ago, you look like you're a little behind.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, everything just came together. And that's a contribute to your hard work and dedication. So, yeah, man, big props. I think you're going to do very well. Very well. I think everything's about your attitude. Same thing like me being at the Olympia. for my first time and getting up there and then getting frustrated. At the end of the day, we got to understand that we're being judged by 7, 8 judges, sometimes 9, and all we can do is bring the best that we have and just hope that the cards fall where they may. But and that's basically what happened with me at the Olympia. Just knowing that, hey, I do believe I could have been better, but I had a long season, coming from, the Orlando, then going to Romania, and then come back from Romania, and then prepping again for the Olympia. So it was a long season. But I believe that if you're mentally strong, regardless of what show you're competing in, the level of show you're competing, as long as you're mentally strong and you're bringing the best you, that's all that matters.
That's right. That's right. And again, like I wanna stay on that topic, and what a blessing it is to do what we do, right? Like I had my bicep torn, like I said, about 2 years ago, and I would have never, when it happened, I never thought I didn't know what I'd be able to do again, and to be able to compete at the Arnold at any competition really is like, it's a blessing. So with that said, whether I place first or last, and yes, I do, I'm going to go try and win this show.
No, you're going to go win. If we don't just try, you're going to go win, because the mentality that I had to have to do the Orlando, especially coming from, 2 years ago, battling with Ian and dealing with the frustration, knowing I beat him, but it fell where it fell. So, when I decided to get ready for the Orlando, no, Hassan is a big name, tons of followers. To be Hassan, you got to be at your best. The guy carries a lot of muscle. But here and here. So when I spoke to Blue, I said, listen, we're not going to go do our best. We're going to win.
That's right.
Everything, you got to speak it into fruition, man. You know what I mean?
That's right.
You believe in Christ, you can do all things through Christ Jesus, man. You go up there, you bring that noise, you let them know that you are here. You know what I mean? And let them, they could have their little top 3 all figured out. And they had that in plenty of shows. They had it at Tampa when I went against Ian. I was never mentioned. They just come and shock the world. So as long as you're mentally and spiritually embedded in and focused, there's great things. From what I see compared to last year was like a feeling out process for you. You come back from injuries, even though you still look great. Now, you're gliding. You look great.
Yeah.
So you got to keep that determination and dedication and that focus and that spiritual drive. And you got a great wife. I watch her with a little funny little things she do in and out the house. And you need that. And we spoke about that several weeks ago about having a strong your strong, significant other, because we can't do it without them. You know what I mean? Because we get deep into this diet, we're not thinking straight. So we need somebody to shed light on things from the outside.
That's right. That's right. And you're absolutely right. I mean, my mentality going into the show, everyone's talking about Samson and Hadi, and they deserve all the respect in the world. All those guys going to compete do. But I really do feel going into this competition, I have one of the best physiques that will be presented on that stage. Structurally, I feel like I'm structurally gifted, with a small waist, wide back, big legs. My conditioning is going to be on point. I mean, I'm ready to go. My coach, Patrick, was like, man, I wish we can go this weekend. Like we're ready. And the muscle is there. I'm going to be 12 pounds. 10 to 12 pounds heavier than I was last year. I'm 243 pounds a week out. So I'll figure I'll be like 238, 239 on stage. It's a lot of muscle for a guy that's 5'6". So, they can talk all they want about whoever they want. I really am going out there to go win that 300 grand. Me and my wife.
It makes it stress-free for you. Right?
Yeah. And like I said, at the end of the day, really where I'm at is whether I place first, which is what I'm shooting for, or I place last, I am so blessed to be able to do what I do, because again, 2 years ago when I tore my bicep, I thought my career was over. I didn't know what I would be doing. I didn't know. I mean, God knows I didn't believe I'd be competing at this level again, nor look the way that I look. I do believe that people are going to walk away from this show saying that was the best John De La Rosa has ever presented himself.
Right.
And that's a win. That's a win, no matter what. Wherever I land, it's a win for me.
John, it's a quick question, because you said, you can't believe how far you come in the sport. Before you were an IFBB pro, you were an elevator mechanic, right?
Sure.
Yeah, I followed your career since you turned pro, and I was always a big fan because you were a blue collar guy. and you were an elevator mechanic, and I was an electrician at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm a
Same union.
Yeah, it's the same unit. Unfortunately, I was a non-union electrician, but it's local 3, same unit in New York City. And elevator mechanics make a really good living, right?
Yeah, we do. I was just having this conversation with a friend just now.
Okay, they're one of the better paid trades, and
Yes,
and pretty much every trade gets paid well, right? I mean, without Benny's, journeyman electrician, without benefits, without overtime, without it's like $54 an hour. It's up to now.
Yeah.
Or so.
Yeah.
And if you count benefits, you count pension, you count 401, it's over $100 an hour.
Oh yeah.
Did any of the guys that you worked with when you were an elevator mechanic going, what the fuck? Why would you leave this job to go figure out to see if you want to be a pro bodybuilder?
All of them. But you know what?
A
lot of them reach out to me today, and still, again, I was just having this conversation. It's so funny with a friend of mine just left. He's starting his own business, and I told him, listen, man, one of the hardest decisions I had to make was walking away from that job, because I remember the first contract I got was like $2,400 a month. Meanwhile, I'm making all this money as an elevator mechanic, but I had a really tough decision to make in, like, do I chase this almost childish dream of becoming an elite IFBB pro? Because I know I can't do it. I mean, anyone who knows the trade knows it's a very labor-intensive job. It's not an easy job. You can't. Right. I mean, you're lugging around 1,000-pound motors up 60 flights of stairs, and then you got to go squat or deadlift. It's not easy, right? Compared to a guy who's sitting at home eating 4 or 5 meals, going to train, and then giving that his all, right? So I knew I couldn't compete at that level doing both. So I made a really tough decision, and I had to walk away. But I also knew it was in my heart. I also knew that I would never allow myself to live it down had I not taken that leap of faith. And so I did. I left the job, and I never looked back. It's the greatest decision I've ever made in my life, honestly, besides marrying my wife. That's the best one.
That's because she's sitting right there eating M&Ms.
Yeah, before she throws some at me.
I don't mean to change direction, but Dorian, did you see, because you're getting ready for the New York Pro, did you see that they raised the money for the Detroit Pro and it's like 25 grand for first place? Have you considered that?
No.
Yeah, you might want to look in.
John, are you doing Detroit?
I am supposed to be doing Detroit, yes, sir.
No way. No.
Yeah, because
you gotta
they supposedly raised the money throughout all the contests now, because they got.
Yeah, I want to touch on that. I want to say to all the promoters and the league that's really stepping up and putting some money up for us guys, man. I'm speaking on my behalf, but I'm also speaking on behalf of all of us other pros. Thank you. We spend a lot of money getting ready for these shows. I'm sure I can speak for all of us here, even the 212 guys who also deserve some money. Thank you. We appreciate it. We need it.
Yeah, and Detroit is there's going to be a lot of eyes on Detroit because it's Fuad show, right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's Fuad, it's Hostel show. So people are going to be watching that one. So that would be a great show to get some if you're a young bodybuilder coming up and you don't have a lot of recognition, to get some exposure. Absolutely. Like that guy that's doing the Arnold because he won the Arnold last year, the Arnold Amateur, and he's doing it this year, and nobody's talking about it. That'd be the perfect show for him to jump in right after, because he's looking for some exposure. That'd be the perfect. Well, Luke, what about you? What are you doing this year, man?
I'm looking at the Texas.
Really?
In August.
Any reason why you're picking Texas?
Oh, it gives me enough time to prepare.
Mm-hmm.
Or we might do something before then, but that's what I'm looking at.
Okay, not interested in doing anything local, nothing like that.
Oh, we'll see. I'm not sure yet. So plus, and then I get to take my son to see his mother.
Oh, all right.
Texas is a good show, man.
It's convenient.
I do plan on doing it. Texas is a good show.
And that's my first show. It'll be my first show too.
Oh, you'll love it. You'll love it. They turn out over in Texas. I didn't do it last year because of the whole getting ready for the Olympia thing. But what's the promoter, Patty?
Patty
Freddie. Yeah, Freddie saw me at the Olympia, and he was like, "Man, you come back to Texas?" I said, I guess I might as well do it one more time. So yeah, I'll be out. That's going to be one of the shows I'm going to do is in Texas. So I'll see you out there.
Okay. Yeah, definitely.
Well, they canceled Tampa, or they canceled the Open in Tampa, or something like that, right?
No, Tampa's not canceled.
What am I thinking of?
They
Orlando.
added the 212 to the Chicago.
I thought
It
that
wasn't there before. They added it back to Chicago 212.
did they cancel, or was it Orlando? I know it was one of the Florida shows where they either got rid of the Open.
Orlando was they took out the Open.
Yeah, okay.
They took out the Open, and the Puerto Rico was done. I don't think that's going to come back. Those are the only two shows I know.
But why would you take out the Open in Orlando? I don't understand.
It's the money. You you need a sponsorship to pay the Open competitors. There's a lot of money. That's why they took it out years ago. You know what I mean? It's the money. It's the payout.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been on the promotion side of things. I don't know if you guys know, but me and Victor had a show in Dominican Republic, and we had a pro event as well. So you have to pay the sanction fee. You have to pay the sanction fee, which is depending on the category. So I think we had to pay like $6,000, I want to say, for a bikini, and like $6,000 for men's physique.
Really?
And then on top of that, you have to have the prize money in escrow. So the minimum amount that you can give bikini is I think it was $6,000. So it was like 3, 2, and 1. So 3,000 for first place, 2,000 for second place, 1,000 for third place. So, you know, for the men's open, it's much more. You have 10,000 for first place, you know, plus the sanction fee. I don't even know what the sanction fee is. It might be $10,000.
Wow.
I know altogether $32,500 when the prize money was $10,000, but now everything's up.
Right.
So 32,500 is the number on that one.
So it's more profitable to be an NPC promoter then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. No wonder there's so many fucking NPC shows.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. That makes sense. Okay. Because there was I forgot when by the way, today is Jason Arns' birthday. We're still friends.
Happy birthday, Jason Arns.
Oh,
I messaged him today, happy birthday, and he told me to go fuck myself. I'm like, dude,
Oh, really?
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm about to take my birthday back, bro.
No, he just goes, thanks a lot, dude. I said, enjoy your day. That was it. But no, it was only balls. But there was another promoter that was trying to go partners with Arns, and he turned it down. And he said, why don't you go talk to Steve? But Steve wouldn't let him have his own show because there's so many shows in New Jersey and New York and Connecticut now. I don't know all the story, but that makes sense because I'm sure it's, you know, probably half the amount of money you need to put in, and you probably get paid a hell of a lot more when we're coming back, you know. John, take us through, what do you know, some guys have to do really low carbs. Some guys rotate their carbs. Some guys have to do crazy cardio. Some guys drink their ton of water. Some guys cut it out altogether. So some guys drink water up until the day before and cut it out. What's your protocol the last couple of weeks before a contest?
Right now I'm eating plenty of food. So prep it's funny. Patrick and I have been working together now for 3 years, a little over 3 years. We were working together getting ready for the New York Pro when I tore my bicep. That was the first year we were working together, so he didn't really have too much time to figure out what was going on with me. So then I tore my bicep. He was with me through that, and we were kind of trying to maintain somewhat of a physique, even though I couldn't train through that. And then getting ready for Chicago last year, you know, my body composition was not the best getting ready for the show. I kind of rushed recovering from that bicep tendon tear. And I just wanted to get back on stage. Mentally, I was going nuts. You know, the year before that, I had built out the gym. So I was away from the stage for almost 3 years. And I just wanted to compete, and I wanted to see if I still had it in the tank. So my body composition wasn't the best. I was a little bit on the heavier side, fatter side. So we started it off, and he like slammed my food, and I was doing a ton of cardio just to get the body fat off. And it just kind of maintained that way through the prep. So going into this prep, I was a much leaner physique because I had been training consistently, eating my food consistently, all that stuff. And he kind of went into it with the mentality like, okay, I gotta drive John hard. That's the way he gets in shape. Right now I'm doing 30 minutes of cardio.
That's it?
That's it. On certain days, like he might say, do 10 minutes post workout, 15 minutes post workout. But I do 30 minutes of fasted cardio. That's pretty much it. I have 7 meals a day. Every meal has carbs in it besides my last one. Every meal has fats in it besides my last one.
Bastard.
So I think, again, that's also why I was able to, like, put on the size that I put on. I've been slamming food literally since the moment I got off stage in Tampa. I've been laser focused on just becoming my best version.
So you're tired, but you're not super irritable like when you pull all carbs and do an hour of cardio every day.
No. I mean, everyone, like, I remember Flex Lewis, when I was training with him, he was like, man, you never get angry. You never, like, irritable. Everyone that knows me when I diet, the only thing that I do, instead of, I'm the type of person, and I might sound like a bitch for saying this, but, like, I would rather not disturb someone else's life because I'm being an asshole because I'm hungry, which is stupid. I'd rather just be quiet, and just keep to myself. I'm choosing to do this. This is something I'm choosing to do. I love to do. So why am I going to be a dick to someone else because I'm hungry or tired? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though some people react that way, I'm more conscious of it, and I try not to be hangry.
Yeah, right. Guys, I want you to jump in and talk and piggyback off that, because I think everybody has a little bit of different protocol. Like John says, he's eating fats and carbs with every meal. He's eating 7 meals a day. I remember I absolutely hated Juan Morel because he was able to eat like junk food all year all long and be shredded. Right. But what do you guys do? Well, Luke, go ahead, jump in. What do you do a week or two before the contest to get really dialed in?
I'm pretty much carb cycling around that time. We put the carbs back in the day of the show. I have a fast metabolism, so it's crazy at this age, it's still fast. We have to be real careful because all of my preps, nothing is the same. None of my preps are the same. They've always changed. So we got to pay a lot of attention to it, and the water, it still stays the same. I'll drink water till the before 6 o'clock the night before, and then that's it. The water stops until after the show. And that's pretty much it, really. It's nothing. It's been getting easier because since I've started, I've learned more. So now I don't go overboard in the off season. I'm just right there. So when it's time to prep, I don't, even though prep is always hard, but it's not as hard as the first time when you don't know, or you've been sloppy all over the place, and it gets easier as time goes on. You make it easier for yourself, or you can make it hard for yourself. So
that's right.
Bill, what about you? Because you gotta do low carbs, right? When you're competing.
I'm in a whole different ballgame, man. I'm older, so
yeah.
People, a lot of people like to say, as you get older, it doesn't get as difficult. That's not true. The older you get, it does get difficult. With me, my carbs will rock for a little while until we're about 8 weeks out, then the carbs start dropping. I think when I did Orlando, I was on 80 grams of carbs for about 7 weeks. 80 grams of carbs and about 45 minutes of cardio, fasted, and at night. I got my body composition is different. When I was younger, oh man, I could freaking eat carbs straight through. Even when I was in my earlier 40s. But as you get older, man, this time around we stayed in a little bit much more better shape because I could get to, like I was telling you before, I have to fight myself from gaining weight because genetically our family can put on weight very easy.
That's
so
me.
we were trying to stay under 190, but I ended up 191 Saturday.
291.
But a leaner 191. Normally I'll get up to about 305, but it's kind of sloppy. I think a lot of guys, when they fight to get into the threes, you're not really staying super lean in the 300s, and it's not healthy. So we stayed a little bit leaner this time. So hopefully, I'm praying to God that the carbs don't get cut as much because I get really mean.
Yeah.
Patty will vouch for that. It's when the carbs are cut that low, I do try to do my best to compose myself. I told you last year I lost it on one of my female clients, and that's when I was getting ready for the Orlando because I was on 80 grams of carbs with all that cardio, and I had this one client, man, she just wouldn't shut up, and she comes in and is la 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 la. So I
And
just
you
lost
bugged.
it. I lost it, and I said, won't you shut the F up? And everybody in the gym was like, holy shit. Everybody got quiet.
Wow.
And she's like, Phil, but
Could you imagine
I said,
Phil? Could you
oh,
imagine
dude.
Phil Clay, 6 foot tall, 300 pounds, going, would you shut the fuck up? You must have
That's
made everybody must have shit in that
Dude,
gym.
I felt so bad because she's a little blonde, and I didn't want everybody in the gym to think I was like a bully, but everybody knows I was dieting.
Yeah.
And she was like, Phil. And I was like, I'm sorry. And that's when I had to stop trading for 2 weeks because my mind just wasn't in the place to be around people. But yeah, De La Rosa's lucky, man, to be able to consume a little bit of carbs. That does help. It does help.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not. I'm eating, so I don't know what it equates to because Patrick does it by grams weighed.
Yeah, we do too.
I have it 60 grams 4 times a day. So what is that? It's like
That's
80.
not bad though.
That's not bad at all.
That's not bad at all.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
do cream of rice and all that too?
I have oats in the morning, and
Oh
then
wow.
yeah,
Yeah. That's good.
so not bad. I mean, but so my high days, like a high day, he'll go pre and post workout. I do 120 grams pre and post.
What about you, What about you, Dorian? I mean, I know you're probably on the same page as John, right? You bastard.
Yeah, man, I've tried everything. And honestly, if you're just keeping your calories low, almost anything works. I found out early on that if I just go low carbs, I get ripped. But as years progress, my body's kind of changed and I've got all this muscle on me now. And it's just like a giant parasite that's sucking energy. So just as long as you keep yourself in a caloric deficit, I mean, what I have found to work best is what I'm about to approach here in the next few weeks. I want to start cutting when I'm 9 weeks out. And I'm just going to drop my calories down really low, like 2,000 a day. I'm going to try to do about as much cardio as I can. And I'm just going to stay in a deficit until I'm fucking shredded.
There you go.
Start bringing other foods like
shredded.
Fill out.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is like people think there's a magic potion. It's like that. Just take the food away, Yeah. John, are you gonna do the New York Pro?
It really depends on what happens here at these next 3 shows that I'm doing. So as I stated, I'm really I'm trying to knock some heads off and do some big things here. But we'll see. I know Fuad has me listed to do the Detroit Pro, which is a week after Brazil. Not sure if I want to do both because I would have to fly to UK, fly home, be home for 4 or 5 days, then fly to Brazil, come back, be home for like a day, and then fly out to Detroit, which is a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah.
So
that's a lot.
I'm trying to decide what to do there, but to go to New York, that's all the way at the middle of May. So I don't really know.
What's in Brazil?
Arnold.
So you're doing the UK and you're doing the Brazilian Arnold,
which is 2 weeks after the UK one.
Wow. Whew. Yeah, that's rough, but I got to take my hat off to you, man, because that's you're not the type of bodybuilder. There are certain bodybuilders that want to just pick and choose a particular show because they know they could win, and then they go right to the Olympia. But then there are guys that are like, yo, I need to test myself and see how good I am up against the best of the best, and especially because to me it's like, all right, you won, Puerto Rico, let's say. And then you go to the Olympia, and it's like,
well, see, that's just it. Like, that's just it. I'm at the point in my life where, like, I had fun, I competed, I traveled, I did all that, and it was great, and I appreciate But I'm not just doing this for fun anymore. Like I wanna make sure that when I walk away from this sport, that's one of the things that, like, the realizations that I had when I tore my bicep was I became really disappointed and depressed in myself in how little I had accomplished. You know, I kept going back to that little boy, like in my room, and I had posters of Nasser and Lee Priest and Sean Ray and Flex Wheeler. And I want to be that. I want to win an Arnold. I want to be at the top of the Olympia. You know, like, and I started to think back, like, man, all those years I competed, like I kind of got lost, like just, you know, and then the unfortunate things happened with my divorce, and then that ate up 5 years of my life, losing my business, and I was just unfocused. And so, you know, this newer, revitalized version of myself, I guess you could say, I want to see what I stack up against, like Hadi, you know, and the way I have this new outlook is like, and this, again, no disrespect to anyone that I'm about to mention, but like, you know, there are guys out there that have not so pretty physiques that have the confidence of, like, I don't know, man. They just believe they have the best physique in the world.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's
They look
like
through rose-colored glasses. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, I admire that because I'm the complete opposite. I pick myself apart. I'm like, man, you know what? I wish my chest was bigger. I wish this was bigger. And look at this guy. Look at that guy. Instead of admiring the work that I had done for so many years, right? So now I'm at the point where I'm just kind of looking at it like, bring it on, man. I want to fuck these dudes up. I
Yeah.
want to show what I've worked on. And if I'm not there, that's okay. I'm gonna catch up to you.
Right.
I got
But
time.
I think 90% of bodybuilders have that attitude like you do, because, you know, how do you improve if you look
Right.
in the mirror and go, oh, I'm perfect. You know,
Right.
I'm the best thing. You know,
Well,
you have to.
in all honesty, though, I never really truly believed that I could be one of the best. And some of the best things that has happened, and again, this is all in God's timing, because now looking back, like, I'm like, I don't want to get too religious, but he's just showing me things that, like, I would have never really seen. And, you know, Derek won the Olympia. Derek is not much bigger than I am.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Well,
Hadi won the Olympia. Hadi's not that much bigger than I am.
well, okay. How many times did you do the Olympia?
I don't know, a bunch.
So
6
then
times.
that means you're one of the best in the world.
Yeah, but see, that's my point. That's what I said.
Yeah.
That's what I said earlier. You get caught up in, like, you know, just going through the motions, and then, like I said, that there were other things getting thrown at me in life that you don't really stop to realize, like,
Right.
wow, I'm actually one of the best in the world. I've done
Yeah.
great at what I'm doing. But
Right,
now I'm at a point where it's like, I don't want to just be a journeyman that gets looked back at and is like, yeah, he was a good pro. He was a top 2, top 3 guy at every show he did, like the local shows. But, you know, the bigger shows, he wasn't. No, I want to accomplish what I had set out when I was much younger.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go to Arnold. I want to place top 5 at the Olympia. Those are the things that I'm chasing now, and I'm clear focused on that.
Great. That's fantastic, man. And I'm sure you're going to be successful. So just keep it going. I want to touch on, you guys don't have to mention it if you don't want to, but I'll go to Luke on this one. During that peak week or hell week, whatever the hell you want to call it, diuretics, do you use any or no? Because some guys are like, I stay away from them. Some guys do crazy amounts. I mean, what do you think, Luke?
I didn't because my body I started bodybuilding late, actually. So I started bodybuilding when I was 36. I'm 43 now.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I'm still I tell people I'm still a baby in the sport. I don't know everything. I'm very careful, and I didn't need it. We had it on hand, but I didn't need it because I still kept, even the day of the show, I still kept pissing. I kept getting dry. I was getting dry of my show. But yeah, we had it on hand. I had a coach previous to that to where I could have injured myself. I don't know if the directs were too weak or whatever. I was popping them like they were Skittles, and it didn't work on me. They didn't work.
Bam.
I don't know. Yeah, I didn't. So I don't know. I'm still not familiar in that area. Um, but like, and at that time, I didn't know what diuretics could do to you, the dangers of it
Mm.
when that was happening. Then later on, I said, oh man, I could have something bad could have really happened to me because I was away from home at that time. So I was like, anything could have happened at that time. So
Yeah.
You know,
that's why I'm like I'm with that. I trust my trainer, and I'll look at researching myself as well. But then I really trust him, the trainer I have now, and he really looks out for me and has my best interest at hand. So
mhm.
that's
It's what it's very easy to get lost in that whole cycle of I need more prescriptions, I need more of this, I need more diuretics, I need blah blah blah. And I remember one of the things that I did. I always, and all right, again, I always preface this: I was never at your guys' level. I was a fucking NPC light heavyweight. It was right, but I kind of could relate to the irritability because I always had to do low carbs or whatever, so on and so forth. At my last show, I would use this appetite suppressant, if you want to call it, but I wouldn't use it for the appetite suppressant. It was like an amphetamine, and it would give me tremendous energy, and I would be I wouldn't be irritable, I would be happy. And I kept becoming like dependent on it. Like I would try to, at first I would only use it like if I was really dragging my ass, or if I had a family function and I didn't want to be miserable. And then I got to the point where I would use it, almost every day because I didn't want to uh, feel like shit, And then I stopped using it like a week out. And there's a lot of that goes on, that the abuse of the drugs, but
Oh, yeah.
and there has to be a there has to be some structure and some middle ground with it. Otherwise, you could really go down a dark alley with. And we've seen it with people. Didn't Milos actually save somebody's life from diuretics? I don't know the whole story.
I heard he saved a couple of people's lives.
Right? Yeah, I don't know the whole story, but somebody they called the paramedics. They came in and they were going to give this particular bodybuilder I believe it was potassium.
Yeah, I heard that story. Yeah,
You heard that story?
And he told him not to do it because it
right,
killed him.
Right, exactly. And that's kind of the scary part of bodybuilding. But I think the guys at your level, John, Dorian, even when you get to turning pro, I think it becomes to the point where I don't think it's as abused as much as it is in the amateur ranks. I think they have balance by the time they get to you. Well, I don't know, but correct me if I'm wrong. Just piggyback off it.
Well, the amateur ranks, they abuse it in the amateur ranks. I think a lot of them do more than pros.
Yeah,
they are. They are.
That's what I was gonna say. In my experience, I mean, I still have amateurs come up to me in our gym here in Florida, and they're like, "Hey, so this is my cycle," and I'm like, man, like 17, 18-year-old kids. I'm like, God damn, like, what do your balls didn't even drop yet, bro? Like, chill, you know?
Right.
And then when it comes to diuretics, they're like, yeah, I want to take I plan on taking a diuretic on Monday and on Tuesday and one on Wednesday. And I'm like, yo, it's certainly definite. I mean, it's certainly abused as an amateur. I was never like that. Thank God. I thank my lucky stars that I had pros like Victor looking after me and even Jason. And, I was surrounded by guys that were like, are you fucking stupid? Like, that's not what you do. So I learned, but I certainly have seen and heard a lot of amateurs that just way, way overdo diuretics and everything else involved in bodybuilding. Unfortunately, the sport breeds extreme, use. You build a physique. I mean, looking at Phil, it's funny, like you look at Phil and you don't see, a man who's busted his ass for years, right? I see that because I've been doing this for a long time. But a 17-year-old kid doesn't see that. 17-year-old kid sees that guy's on a lot of juice.
Right.
The culture that we have is like instant gratification. Everything's like, oh, how much do I got to take to look like you? I remember, it's funny. My dad started taking me to the gym when I first could get a membership at 13 years old. And I was already really interested in bodybuilding. And I remember my dad like slapping me upside the head if I asked a stupid question like, hey, what supplements do you take? Right. And I was just literally asking about creatine. My dad was like, why do you give a fuck about what supplement? Why don't you ask him how he benches? How to perform this exercise correctly? How much food does he actually eat? Putting in the work, Nowadays, these kids just come up to you and like, well, what's your cycle like?
Oh, right off the bat, immediately. You used to talk about it in the shadows in like the 90s, like in the corner. Now it's like you just talk about it. But Dorian, speak to what John's talking about, because you're actually really good at that. Okay, the aspect of bodybuilding. So go ahead.
Well, piggybacking off of what John says, when you look at a guy who has a physique like John De La Rosa, or a guy like Phil who has a physique, what I see is dedication and consistency. What these young cats see is exactly what he was talking about. What do you got to take, or what do you got to do? What extreme can I do? And what's the best shortcut I can take to get there?
That's it.
A lot of these guys are jumping in, they see these pros on the stage and they want to look like that with that extreme conditioning. In most of the case, they're just not conditioned. And they think if they start slamming some diuretics, all of a sudden some magical bullshit's going to happen. And it's super dangerous.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, muscle's like 70% water anyways.
That's right.
You want to be full on stage. I think what Luca Mon was talking about a minute ago, he took so many diuretics that he couldn't have enough water in his muscle to volumize and push against the skin.
No,
so
it actually didn't work. It was my trainer I had at the time. He didn't know what he's doing. I was following the instructions, so I didn't find out till later. That's why I said, man, dude, because if I'm the type of person, if I don't know, I won't do it.
Right.
I want to experiment on myself. I've never touched anything until I was 30. I've always been in the gym, but I've never touched anything until I said at the age of 36, I want to give a childhood dream a try and step on stage one time. That was it.
Yeah, and now you're a pro, so you got to actually, Luke, you're pretty goddamn strong too. I've been watching your Instagram stuff. Holy shit! How heavy you pressing those dumbbells? Because you were like pressing them for like forever. I don't know how many reps you got out of it.
I got I believe like 10 reps out of the 160s.
God damn, man, it's probably not strong for John, Dorian, and Phil, but it's strong.
That's strong.
All right, good.
Strong motherfucker.
It's strong for me.
He said, "Don't put me in that shit, bro. He's strong."
Yeah, really.
That's strong in anyone's book, man. 160 for 10, that's good.
That's fucking great. I never touched the 160s in my life. I mean, well, not for bench pressing anyway. I mean, that's unbelievable. I got 130s for 4 today. I thought I was King Tut. Oh, man. John, how is Victor doing? I mean, not that I know him very well. I don't. But how's he doing since he's retired?
Victor's doing great, man. He's it's cool to see, like, the transition and Victor, the bodybuilder who's laser focused and, trying to become one of the best in the world, to being a dad and trying to, start businesses and just transitioning in his life. It's cool to see. He's doing good. He seems happy. We talk every now and again. I just sent him like some updates, and he's super pumped for me too. So he'll be out there in Ohio as well. But he's good, man. Life is good for him. He's got 6 beautiful children.
Wow.
They're all growing up. Yeah, he's got a bunch of babies, but they're all growing up. I remember seeing his oldest one being born. Fucking wild. She's a teenager now.
Yeah,
it's really cool. I mean, he's doing good though.
Imagine being a teenage girl and you bring your first boyfriend home that's going to take you on a date, and Victor Martinez answers the door. I mean, like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I tell my wife that all the time. Like, I can't wait till we have a kid. Like, if we have a girl, that poor kid, when she brings her boyfriend home, You guys ever see that movie where 50 Cent?
Yes, I was just thinking about
goons,
that.
A bunch of goons in the garage. That's gonna be me. It's gonna be a bunch of
Yeah.
bodybuilders.
Yeah.
Let me talk to you for a second.
Yeah, right. Man, that is one experience I'm never gonna have, and I envy that boy because having kids is seems to be very fulfilling. Unfortunately, it's not in my book. I just got a fat bulldog. Too fat little bastard. Yeah, I got a bulldog and a Cane Corso. The Cane Corso won't finish her food, so I give it to the bulldog, and he just keeps eating like a fat little shit. Anyway, anyway, so Dorian, the New York Pro is on your agenda. You don't know any other ones you're gonna do after that?
Well, lining them up. That's why the Detroit idea you spit at me didn't seem so appealing. Because the week after New York is the California Pro. 2 weeks after California Pro is the Toronto Pro. I like to bunch all my shows together and just knock them out.
Okay.
3 shows a month.
What about you, Phil? What do you got? I know you're going to go back and do Texas.
Well, we're gonna start prepping 4 weeks, so we're gunning for Chicago. It's been a while I did that. I think the last time I did Chicago, I think De La Rosa, you competed. We were on a stage together back then. I think it was Nick Walker, you, Akeem. Yeah, it was a while back. It was way before you got your injury.
Yeah.
2020.
Okay.
Because I remember I was walking in, we were in the elevator together because your mom, because they yell for you. They're like, show what you got, John. Screaming for the audience, you know? And you were asking me which candy bar to eat because you had like some candy bars in your hand coming from the elevator. So that was the first time I actually shared a stage with you back then. So I haven't did it in a while. I like doing Tim Gardner shows, honestly. So we're gonna go for Chicago. I told Blue we'll see how it goes. Tampa is 2 weeks after that, and that's right here at home. And then I think I'm gonna finish my career in Texas. And
what do you mean finish your career?
Oh yeah, we're gonna. It's a high probability that Texas, because I love that show and it's the final one of the season. I think I think the Open might be done for me, and I'll just focus on the Masters next year. You know, a lot of people don't understand. Like, I went pro at 42 years old.
Wow.
And, you know, I never really competed a lot. I mean, as an amateur, I think I did 6 or 7 shows as an amateur. Then I came here, and that's even including winning the Florida State and then going to Grenada. So I never really competed a lot. So you got to look at it, 7 years as a pro, and I made it this far at this point of my life at my age in this short period of time. That's like a win for me, you know? So this year, man, it's like I just want to do a show for fun, for the last time. No stress, no nothing, don't care what happens, what placing. Just bring a better feel than last year and see what happens. So I'm just going to enjoy the ride, do this for the fans, man, and see where it ends up. Somebody said, well, what if you do really good?
Then you go into the Olympia. That's
Are you going to hang it up? You know, it's probably still going to be. I told AJ I will give him the final exclusive. Right now, it's a very high possibility this will be my last year in the Open. It ended at 50. Dexter Jackson ended at 50. It's a perfect age for me. I got to leave this stuff to these younger guys, man. You know, I'm looking at some of these great athletes. You know, De La Rosa and all these great athletes up and coming that's still fairly young. You know, and I don't think a lot of people understand to compete at the elite level, the way we have to train and push ourselves. You know, it gets to a point now I'm starting to get these little aches in the knees, and you know, these little things are starting to happen now to the point where, you know, I want to go out on top. So why push myself and then start dropping in placings in these small shows? You know, I don't want that to be the impact of my career. So I'm still flying high. I'm still in a good place. Let's go this year and kick some butt and have fun and enjoy doing it. And then just enjoy myself doing a couple Master Olympias. I mean, everybody's pushed me to win this Master Olympia. So that's just my main goal. Have fun, enjoy myself, compete. Chicago, Tampa, and then possibly end it in Texas.
All right, very cool. And Luke is gonna do Texas. And John, I got one last question for you
Yes,
because Phil actually touched on the young guys coming up. You're going to be on stage at the Arnold with a lot of new blood, right? Mm-hmm. Or at least guys maybe that you haven't been on stage with as of yet. What physique are you looking forward to seeing? Because you got Horse MD, you got Rafael Brandao, you got James Hollingshead, you have Antoine. You got a lot of young blood coming up and a lot of young blood that's going to be in that lineup. What physique are you looking forward to actually seeing in person?
So I've competed with everyone except Horse. I'm just a shape guy. I love Rafael Brandao's physique. I think if he's able to get himself into the condition he needs to be in, he's a dangerous guy. Very complete, just like me. You know, he's got everything. I love James Hollingshead. Him and I are good friends. We've been pushing each other and motivating each other through this prep, and I think he's such a good soul, a good man, and I'm cheering for him. I think he's going to kick ass. But I'm really excited for all the guys, man. Like Antoine looks fucking phenomenal too. Sorry for the language.
Don't worry.
I think he looks great. It's exciting, man. Like I know that like I got my game face on and I'm like, fuck it, I'm taking these dudes' heads off, right? But like in my heart, like these are my boys, you know. Like I've been in the sport a long time, and like I want to, as bad as I want to win and beat them, because like I said, me and my wife need that 300 grand. You know, it's a business. It is what it is. But like I also believe I have a physique that's worthy of competing at the top level, just like these guys do. And at the end of the day, we're all competing for the same paycheck. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited for them. And if it isn't me, I've always been this way. I want one of my boys to win. You know, like that's just how it is. Like when me and Juan were competing, I placed second to Juan I don't know how many fucking times. And it drove me nuts. But at the same time, I was so happy for him because I saw one of my good friends having this success, you know, and it was awesome for me to watch, you know. And I think I think a lot of guys have a hard time with that. Like I try to be careful critiquing physique because I'm a bodybuilder at heart. Like, you know, I can tell you right now, I got like some kickback from a podcast I did. And I kind of just out and said, like, you know, this guy, Marcello, is a great bodybuilder from the front. From the back, not so much. Mm-hmm. You know, he's getting a lot of hype. He's got 1 million+ followers, and I get it. But he's got some work to do, you know, and there was kickback. And it wasn't any disrespect. Listen.
Oh, believe me. Listen, I get it constantly. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we all have things we need to work on. I'm not the biggest guy on stage. I don't want to be, you know, but it's also something that somebody can pick apart on me. Like, oh, well, John needs to be 280 on stage, not 240. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm just saying, like, from a bodybuilding fan standpoint, like, I'm excited for these guys, but I also think I'm better than a lot of them.
Right.
Listen, my opinion, I see you in the top 4, bro. I mean,
thank you.
I don't want to call him Raphael because his name is really Rafael, because I saw them made a big stink about it on James Dennis James' channel. You got to pronounce it with an H.
Yeah.
I've seen his physique. He's much bigger. He's much fuller, but necessarily I'm a firm believer size isn't everything. But right now where you're at, De La Rosa, condition wise, I can see it in people's faces. Yeah. And when he did that video, his face is too soft. And I mean, I don't know him very well.
You're right.
He didn't do the Olympia.
Me and Dorian talked about that. He looks behind.
His face is pretty soft. So, you know, I don't know how you're going to miraculously fix that in less than 9 days. But regardless, like I'm looking at the lineup and the top names, but I also look at structure and I look at conditioning and how a physique flows. You know what I mean? And your name was mentioned on Dennis James' channel because everybody's saying, listen, you guys are forgetting about these other guys. You guys are hell bent, you know, on the top 2 and the top 3, you know. But where you're at, even though Rafael, if he's in condition, you're right. He is a very tough guy to beat. But from what I see right now and what I see in you, and even Patty saw it, you know, you just keep that gas and worry about yourself. And like I said, let them talk. I love when people talk because it's supposed to make it fuel you.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, don't listen. Don't talk. I love when nobody talks about me. Like this year, last year, I was like, damn it, man, don't mention my name. Don't talk about me. Keep me out of it. Because it just makes me push harder. Because I think when you talk about me now, it makes me like, fuck, now I can't disappoint. And
Yeah,
when you don't talk about me, I'm angry. So now I
yeah,
got a point to prove. You get what I'm saying? So everybody
right.
always want to be talked about. I'd rather not be talked about. You can mention my
Mhm.
name one time and not talk about me. Let my physique prove to you guys where I need to be. But I see
My
you in the top four. That's what I see.
thank you, thank you. It's funny you mentioned that. My wife, you know, God bless her, she's the best, man. She listens to all the podcasts and all the predictions and all this shit, and I'm there doing my cardio, grinding, having a good time, watching fucking Olympias, and just in my zone.
Right.
Right.
Could you believe these people? They don't know what's coming. I'm like, babe, chill. Like it's all
That's
right.
what I do. She does the same thing.
Yeah.
Don't you worry about it.
And I'm
Don't
like,
you
listen, I
worry
don't want to
about
hear it. I don't care who they're talking about. I don't want to hear it.
I said, listen, the way I see it is all the prediction, all the pundits, all the hoopla around all that shit is all good. Like it's part of a sport, right? And it's good to be talked about. I remove myself from it because it really doesn't fucking matter, right? My coach said something to me the other day that I was like, man, I mean, Patrick, by the way, anyone out there, he's just a total G. I'm on the phone with him at 5:45 in the morning. Right when I get up, checking in, you can see sometimes he gets excited and takes the screenshot and posts it up. And then I speak to him right after my post-workout FaceTime again. He gets up in the middle of the night to talk to me, to see how I'm looking, to see how my body's coming along throughout the day. So he's a total G. But he said something to me the other morning, and I was like, man, that's some powerful stuff because it's so true. He was getting pissed off at, again, all the pundits and the predictions, and he's like, man, they don't know what's coming. They don't know. He goes, John, I want you to remember. He goes, John, I want you to remember one thing. I said, okay, what? He goes, there's no name on that first place check yet. There's no name on that first place check. So let them say Samson, let them say Hadi. We're going for that first place check.
Right.
Amen.
He said, and it's true. They can say whatever they want. The day of the show, that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that matters. Samson is a phenomenal bodybuilder. What happens if he's off?
Right. Yeah, no, and it can happen. And we've seen it happen.
Hadi's a phenomenal bodybuilder. What happens if he's off?
Right.
But Derek Lunsford beats him. Why can't a John De La Rosa beat him?
Right. We've seen it happen where guys were off, and because you don't know what happens behind the scenes. I mean, now a little bit now with Instagram and so on and so forth.
And there's so much that happened those last few days. People do start doing stupid shit. Like talking about Rafael Brandao. He tries to pull a rabbit out the hat and cut a ton of water, and then he's too flat on stage.
Yeah, look how long it took Rami to get his shit together. I mean, we were all. It does happen. It does happen.
So it's funny to me. Like my wife, my dad, everyone called me. Yeah, they didn't have you in the top 5. I'm like, who cares? I'm gonna show up on this.
But isn't it great to have a great support system like that, man? I mean, really, isn't that? I mean, your dad, your wife, your friends, your coach.
Dude, even my mom. My mom is not the biggest fan of bodybuilding for obvious reasons. She's in the medical field, and my mom used to tell people when I was like a little kid, I used to take off my shirt and flex my abs and hit most musculars because of my dad or whatever. She was like, yeah, my son's either going to be a stripper or a bodybuilder. Ended up being a bodybuilder. She didn't like that. But even my mom calls me, she's like, son, I'm so proud of you. You're going to do great. And for me, that's a great thing because for years, my mom, I mean, I've done the Olympia quite a few times and my mom never even went to one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So for us, that's like the Super Bowl of bodybuilding. That's the World Series. That's like you're the best of the best. And even if I didn't place well, you're still amongst the best.
Right.
So, having my mom come around, and our relationship has changed quite a bit over the years with the aspect of bodybuilding. We have a great relationship. Otherwise, she just never really was supportive of the darker side of bodybuilding.
Yeah,
right?
And that's understandable.
Right.
Yeah, she was concerned over her son, but now she's kind of like, very supportive. She's excited. I mean, just the whole thing. I'm so blessed to have, like you said, just an incredible support system and friends. And family that love and care for me, just want to see me happy. And I'm honestly living the best life I can possibly live right now. I'm so happy. I'm so ready for this competition. And just, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Listen, man, much love, much respect. Always. I really, really appreciate you coming on like the week and a half before the Arnold. That means a lot to me, brother. We will definitely keep in touch.
Hey, real quick, hold on, John. Hey, De La Rosa, are you doing the posing clinic? Are you going to be there Friday or Saturday?
Saturday.
For Tim, you're going to be at the Saturday. Oh, I won't see it then. I'll be at the one on Friday.
Where's the one on Friday?
In Tampa at the Goals.
Yeah, I'm doing the one.
Powerhouse, sorry, yeah. So Saturday, all right, I'm gonna miss you then because I thought you was going Friday because he has so many people, but he's not saying what days they're gonna be at certain ones. And let me tell you, I give you props, bro, because when I did his last one last year, I was 2 weeks out from Orlando. So to be freaking almost a week out to be there that's honorable, bro. That's honorable.
You know the thing is that Tim is a good friend of mine. You know, you develop this relationship with some of these promoters, judges, whatever. He's one of the few that when I was going through a really hard time after my divorce, reached out to me constantly, sent me prayers, you know. And to me, that's something that like you could never, as a man, I could never forget that. And he, you know, what's it to me to pack a meal or two and go stand around and talk to fans?
100%. Tim was my coach when I first came to Florida, Team Body Tank, and we won the Florida State and overall together. And back then it wasn't easy to go pro back then because they didn't have the opportunity, so you had to be a citizen, and I was not. And Tim pushed and pushed. I got letters from the state and wrote to Jim Mannion, and Tim didn't have the pull like he has now back then. But just the support and him encouraging me as I came up through the ranks and him judging me, he was always harsh. He never, even though he was my coach and in my heart will always be my coach because he's one of the best coaches I ever had. He's the reason why I up my game and why I'm still here because he said, "Tank, keep pushing, keep going forward." So yeah, man, I know what you feel. That's why I told Tim, anytime you call on me, I'm there. I don't have to second guess it. If you say you want me there, I'm there.
Yeah.
That's great. I wish I gotta start traveling a little bit more and getting out to these things.
Yeah, you need to get out of that freaking room that you're in here.
I know. Once I'm trying to renovate my basement and make my basement the studio, but hopefully that gets done this year. Gentlemen, thank you very much. I really appreciate it, especially John. I really appreciate you coming on. Much respect. Luke, Phil, Dorian, always a pleasure. Much respect to you guys. Truly appreciate you guys always joining me on Wednesday nights to do Muscle Talk. We'll be in touch. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, guys. Be good.
Good luck, John.
Guys, take
Guys,
care.
best of luck in you guys. Guys, the best.